about that black girl magic, then I got it. I got beauty, I got brains, plus I'm popping like a semi-automatic. Brown skin, glistening in that shea butter, melanin, dripping, deep rooted like it's cocoa.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Melanated Mommies, episode 3, in continuance of our Women's History Month theme. This week we'll be discussing the effects of pregnancy on mommy's body. And how that carries over also into self-love, self-care, and just how it plays on you kind of mentally sometimes, and learning how to appreciate your new body. So let's get into it, ladies.
Let's get into it.
I guess we'll start, Alicia, like in terms of your recent pregnancy with Rylan. After that, like, how are you feeling, or what's your mindset in terms of your new blessed mommy body?
I hate it. I'm trying to find me a sugar daddy. I can do a BBL mommy makeover. But no, for real, like when I first got pregnant, of course I was happy. I was excited. Everybody kept saying, you just don't know. Wait till you become a mommy. And I'm like, I really don't know, but I know my body's going to change.
Yeah.
So as having my son was 10 pounds, 2 ounces, 20 inches long.
Wow.
So he made me huge. And now that I'm so huge, I'm like, Erlen. And all he wanted was, mommy, mess with the belly. I'm like,
yeah.
So it took me a long time to actually feel comfortable with my body, to be able to wear like crop tops, to be able to sit here and feel comfortable. Because I was so my self-esteem was so crazy. Then with the postpartum, everything is like
it plays into one.
Then I had PIPS. I don't know if y'all know what PIPS is, but PIPS sucks.
Break it down for us.
Oh my God. PIPS is basically when you're pregnant, your body breaks out in a huge rash. So I had a rash on my face, my arms, my body, my legs, and my stomach. And so I'm scratching. And when I'm scratching until I bleed. So I'm leaving marks everywhere on my legs.
Wow.
So I told the doctor, like, get this baby out of me. I'm not, no. I was supposed to be there, like, I guess 40 weeks. No, Get him out. I'm ready to go. Like, come on. So I had a scheduled C-section, and it didn't even go away right away. It took a minute. And then having C-section, yes. And it was crazy because not only did I have PIPS, but I had gestational diabetes.
Oh, man.
So I'm like making sure my son is getting the proper nutrition because he got a whole bunch of sugar. Because I'm eating sugar, and it was horrible. So when I gave birth to him after the C-section, they were like, "Hey, you can try breastfeeding." I did the breastfeeding stuff, but he wasn't latching, and then also I was only having colostrum, so it wasn't enough because he was a big baby.
Right.
So they're like, "Look,
hungry.
Right?" So they automatically was like, "Look, I know you're trying to breastfeed. I understand." But if you don't get him some formula or he gets the sugar that he needs, he has to go to NICU. I said, oh, give me that formula. I mean, I don't want to give him formula, but I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
But that C-section scar, like, it was like automatically like, oh God.
I'm a C-section mom.
Me too. My last 2 were C-sections.
It sucks.
It does. It plays on you.
It sucks.
Yeah.
My scar is only probably about this long.
Yeah. Now, my doctors, like, they did good on the scar wise, but I think the actual procedure, it has worn on me. Like, the first one I had, I was so nervous, and it was like so last minute or whatever.
It scared
it scared the heck out of me because I didn't, have that experience. And like with my, older 2, I didn't have that experience. They were vaginal births. Right. So I'm like, oh my gosh, like, I'm laying on this table. They about to cut me open. What the world? And then, the doctor's like, oh, it's nothing. Like, we do this all the time. And I'm like, you do this all the time. I don't. I don't lay on the table, get my insides cut out, continuously or whatever. And then the second one with Cairo, I'll never forget. His was going fine. It was going good. But they had, like, the torch turned up too high. And I could smell it as they cut my flesh. And it was literally making me sick. And I turned to his dad, my partner, and I was like, I'm getting sick, like I can like smell that or whatever. And so they tell you, like, if you're getting nauseous, like, to let them know or whatever. And I'm like, hey, I'm literally 5.6 seconds away from
did you use that suction? Yeah. Girl, that suction be it.
He's like, oh, snap. So he runs, and increases whatever medicine that stops you from regurgitating. And I will never forget that because, like, that smell is seared in my head.
Burning flesh.
Yes. And then you know, he tells the doctor, details the doctor or whatever, and then like, you know, I could tell that they turned it down or whatever, but at that point it's already in your nose.
Yep.
And I remember there was a day, this was about a couple months ago, I forget what the smell was, but I had smelt it and it gave me a flashback.
Oh my goodness.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And so after that, like with my first two, I snapped back so good. Like it was like
because you had that vaginal one. It's a difference with a C-section because you got a flap that won't go away.
Well, even on the third one it was pretty good, but the last one it was just like So like I have like that fupa and I've never had that, and so now I'm like, what in the world? You know what I'm saying? Because and then it's also society playing on you too, because then you see people are like, ooh, you know, snap back and knowing that I had that, and then going from that to this. And then also, like she said in the beginning, like as a joke, you know, people are continuously turning to like BBLs, or you see celebrities. And although we are, or you know, everyday people, whatever, it's hard to not adjust your viewpoint of yourself to what you're seeing in social media. You know what I'm saying? But I think that that's another thing, especially in terms of Black women and ethnic women, even all women, we have to learn to appreciate, you know, our bodies, because at the end of the day, not everybody can have kids. It took you, you know, a while past what your goal was to have Ryland, you know. And so when you're like, oh my gosh, my body, I'm like, girl, you are beautiful. You know, we have to learn how to love our adjusted bodies. And it's nothing that can't be changed, but you got to be able to love yourself and make sure you're making those changes for the right reason. You know what I mean? What about you, Fadika? Like,
I've always been a big girl, so I had a fupa before I even had a child.
Hey,
before they start calling their fupa.
Do y'all know what the acronym means?
Break it down.
It means
fat above.
No, fat upper pussy area. The acronym for. I actually learned that from watching a podcast.
Oh my God. I'm out of here.
I've never heard
Me
that.
either.
I learned
and
it
it just sounds so accurate
from these two white guys. I could not even tell y'all what the podcast was, but that's exactly what I had no idea.
Wow.
And we're women, and we had no idea what it meant.
No.
It must have been a
Just
man.
said.
Of course it was a man that made it. With his perception of what perfect women
should
was,
look like.
with his dad's bod, receding hairline. And
I will tell you
that is
these
true.
two guys, they both love fupas though.
Yeah.
So they were pro fupa. But I think you should let your fupa hang out.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't do nothing with it.
Yeah.
I reposted something I posted last year.
I saw that. I was going to bring that up.
On Facebook. Everybody always wants to put emojis in front of their fupa.
Yeah.
Y'all look crazy.
Right. Because you're not
doing that.
Happy face on your
Yeah, that's crazy.
I just feel like it draws attention to it.
It does.
Well, I think everybody wants to be so perfect.
Yeah,
right?
definitely.
Nothing is perfect.
No.
Nobody is perfect.
Listen.
You're okay with your mom bod. You're okay with your mom bod. You're okay with your mom bod.
Non-existent.
First of all.
Non-existent.
See, that's the thing. Okay, so for
It's
me.
genetics, though.
No, really, yeah.
So whatever your mother, I hate to say this, but whatever your mother's body type is, that is your body
Yeah, my
type.
mom carried phenomenal. That's why I like this last one with Cairo, because to baby KK, but dang. But that's why it was like such a like, oh my goodness, what is that? Because like I never had it before. But they do tell you like when you have C-sections or whatever, like it stretches your muscle, and you have to remind your muscle what it's supposed to do.
They cut through 7 layers
of
skin
to do a C-section.
and tissues
to do a C-section.
And it's hard to come back from that.
It is.
Your body never recovers from it at all.
Yeah.
And it's kind of,
if you get back to your goal or whatever, you're still like, man, like I can't believe I was at that point anyway.
I want to say that it has a lot to do with it being numb.
Yeah, for sure.
For the bounce back.
Yeah.
Because if you don't actually feel it, you feel like it's not actually there.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? And I still, my son is 14, and I still have places on my stomach. I'm not going to say they're numb, but it feels funny when you touch it.
Oh, for sure.
It doesn't feel like the rest of your body when you touch it.
I have that with my C-section area. Do you? I have.
I don't even know it's there. Like my doctor did a really good job. Like you can't even see my scar.
Do you feel the numbness? If I'm in the shower or whatever the case may be, and my hand runs across it, I can feel that it's numb.
It's an eerie feeling.
Yeah. Or
that got me over want to check
because I got epidurals with my first two. If I'm on my feet too long or moving too much, I can feel where I can feel my epidural.
Now that I can, like my back hurts so much more since I've had that epidural in my back.
Oh yeah.
But see, this is the crazy part. I had an issue with my epidural when they put it in.
Okay.
They put it in, but my back, I'm a small person, very small.
Yeah.
So I have a pediatric back. So the doctor can't. I know that's what he said.
Not a pediatric.
He said it. Like no, because I'm gonna tell you what happened when he first put it in. Because he was like trying to find in my spine where to put it in. So and I'm like I said, I remember all of it like it was yesterday because I've had a bad experience with my C-section. But he was sitting here putting his knuckles in my spine, and then he's like, "Oh, don't move! I found a spot." Oh, so he puts it in, and he puts it in. I'm like, "You're in my butt. Like I feel it in my butt. You're not in where you're supposed to be." Yeah. And he was like, "Okay, I need you to still stay still. Your back is so small. I got to figure out where to go." I'm like, "Well, can you hurry up? Because this is uncomfortable." Yeah. I'm like, "I can't," because literally you have to hold on to this thing and try not to move at all. Because if they do,
yes, you do.
It's a mess. It's a mess. And so like after that, I start having like lower back pains. When I never had before. So it's like, yeah, it's a big difference. It's a change.
It is. It really is. What about you, Jamila?
Well, I was about to
be a short.
Right, a short one.
Wow. You see how
she snapped
hater. Wow.
No.
Well, the struggle for me for real was when my baby gave me weight. So he had me out here look thick and stuff. Okay.
She was.
And baby, I wanted that.
Yeah, that's what
you know what I'm saying? So when I had him, it just went right back to regular. So I don't know. I had him vaginal. So everything was pretty much cool. I feel like I was blessed with an amazing pregnancy, like just throughout the process. Right. Only thing I felt like was the epidural, like my back. I don't know.
So with that being said, do you guys feel that if you had known that you would still be feeling your epidural, would you have gotten them? Yes or no?
I had no choice because I was a C-section. When you have a C-section,
they
you still have no choice.
Yeah. Well, if you had a vaginal.
I mean, me personally, I can't speak on that because I didn't experience it. So I don't know what that pain is technically about because, I mean, they broke my water. They did all of that. So I'm literally not feeling anything between my breasts and up. So, I mean, only thing I feel down there is pressure, that's the bad part that I had during my C-section. Mm-hmm. Like, imagine somebody sitting here like, okay, because he was a big baby. Mm-hmm. They couldn't get him out easily. I had a lot of amniotic fluid. So all you heard was when they cut it is shh. Wow. And then you hear the doctors in the background talk about, well, dang, that's a lot of fluid. And then all of a sudden they say, okay, baby girl, you're going to feel some pressure. I'm like, okay, pressure, I can deal with that. No, they pushing me like down. I'm like, I can't even catch my breath because it hurts so bad. And I'm like, even though it don't hurt, it hurts to try to breathe. To the point where I got flushed. I had to use the damn suction. I'm sorry, I did say damn. But I had to use the suction, and I mean, I felt like I was going to throw up, but I didn't throw up. And then it's like, I mean, other than that, everything was fine. But then after, like, it was weird because I was able to get up like this right after.
Me too.
I was up.
I was definitely okay.
I was up walking vaginally, but those C-sections, I would have rather somebody cut my legs off because it hurt ridiculously too
when you get home.
I was in so much pain, even in the hospital, because they'd be like, "Hey, go ahead and get up and move around or whatever." And D literally had to help me like get up, stand up. It's so big ups to D on my care in the hospital because it was so many times where I almost even fell, whatever. And he literally caught me, didn't even know that he would grip me or whatever, having to go into the bathroom and all of that. So it was definitely, an experience for me or whatever.
Oh yeah, definitely. Because I feel like with the thing for me with the epidural, I feel like I wouldn't have got it because like 30 minutes after I got it, he came. Because when I went in the hospital, I was only 4.5 centimeters, and they told me they admitted me or whatever. Soon as they gave me the epidural, I was 9.5 centimeters, and it was.
Oh wow, he was ready.
So my whole thing, he really was just like right there. But she's like, she was like, you pushing him back in, but I couldn't feel nothing because I just took it, like just.
Yeah.
So she was like, stop pushing. She was like, she put a mirror in front of me. She was like, I want you to see that you pushing him back in there. So it was just see that it was like really emotional, of course. But I don't think I would have got the epidural.
Yeah.
If I would have known he would have came so fast like that. She was like, because if you ever have a baby, make sure you tell your doctor that like you gonna dilate really fast.
Yes.
Right. And it also depends on the baby too, you know, because
he was like, I'm ready to go. I'm out of here, mama.
He's like, I figured out who shot his ears.
Right. And then he came 9 ounces. Like, oh,
you had a big baby too.
Nico was a big baby. He was so Phoenix was 6 pounds. And Nico was 9 pounds and like 14 ounces or something like that. He came out like big as could be, like big as can be.
Oh yeah, no, he wasn't that big.
Yeah,
he was actually
who do
Yeah. He was only 6 pounds 9 ounces. So he came out. He didn't come out.
It was about Phoenix.
Oh, he was the same size as my son.
Okay.
Yeah. But you know, Phoenix. Remember when she was born, we could like hold her like this. She was a look. That's why I call her Peanut to this day. Cause she looked like Shaq Dark.
She got so big.
She does, because she's so tall. Like. Chat, hey, cut that chat, baby. But she was like so.
Her dad is tall. With her,
the dog.
He is. So.
Yeah.
I'm done. So
I am too. Lord,
I don't use titles that you don't deserve, and you know who you are.
My C-section was great. Let me tell y'all.
Okay.
My water broke in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
I called the doctor. The doctor said, "Hey, are you sure?" I said, "Yeah, it's flushing out. It's nasty." That was the worst part.
Yeah.
Sitting there all day for the baby trying to come down. They tried to wait on him to come down.
Yeah.
But sitting there all day in the amniotic fluid, that is the nastiest thing. I don't like fluids. I don't like spit. I don't like drool.
Listen to y'all over here. It's all
I don't like any of that stuff.
Yeah.
But once they hit me with them drugs,
You was like,
baby, I was thinking of all for coming.
That is true.
Man. But I did have a problem with my epidural as well.
Yeah.
Because they thought I had scoliosis. And I was like, nah, I ain't got no scoliosis.
Right.
And it did scare me.
Yeah.
And that scared me.
Very
They had it,
right.
and boy, was I high.
Right. That's
how did
But after effect, I was able to get up. I was able to walk.
Yeah.
I was ready to go home.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they were very surprised that I was up
That's
in there.
Everybody, like I said before, everybody's so different. Now with Malachi, they had to break my heart with him, even though he was vaginal, because it was just so many issues with him. And then I remember that when they finally did, I was like, oh no. I was like, y'all gotta get a towel and get this. It's nothing more I love than like a hot shower and walking on the beach.
Right.
But actually being in
your
water.
own water.
But it's hot water because it's like
It looks amazing.
Yes.
slimy.
Literally.
I didn't see it, so I wouldn't know.
Girl, it just kept coming out, and I was thinking, somebody get this baby out of here, please.
Right.
Please.
Oh God.
But C-sections do not do well on your body.
Yeah.
They will leave extra skin.
The marks and all that,
Yep, and your
Things that
stretch
make
marks
us
don't
sad
go away. They get
sometimes.
lighter, but they don't go away.
Yeah.
I've always had stretch marks as well.
I cannot.
But literally, like, everybody, we just gotta learn how to like love ourselves.
Yeah, those are
like,
marks that make us who we
literally,
are. You know what
yeah.
I'm saying? Like,
And to be honest, guys don't care. Literally,
Oh,
I mean,
God.
literally.
They care about
But see, you know, it's so crazy because we as women, we think that people on the outside, we care about what they say, what they think about.
Yeah.
And it's like, we so busy worried about what they think. It's about what we think at the end of the day. But the society has it as, you know, men want this type of women. So everybody feels like, oh, I need a body like this, or I need a body like that. Me personally, I'll be okay with my body. Just take the stomach away from me and I'll be okay.
Yeah.
Like, I just want to get back to how I used to look.
When you felt like
When I felt like I was the most me, yes. Now I feel like, you know, I understand I'm embracing the mommyhood, but it's just like,
You feel like you're in somebody else's body.
yeah, I don't like my body. I hate it. I really do hate it. But at the same time, I know I still can poo. And I look better than a lot of other women. So I mean, I'm not really worried about it. I mean, I do care, but like it took me a minute after I had him to actually fully be comfortable.
Yeah. We're literally our own worst enemies and judges. Because there are times where I'm like, and then like I might get around y'all or go out and they're like, oh dang, I had somebody tell me, and this actually you said it too, but it was this girl at Kroger and she was like, your body goes. I said, who body goes? You must be talking about the before because you're not talking about the after. You know what I'm saying? But that's literally to show, like, even though as much as women say, oh, I don't compare to nobody, I'm my own competition, everybody does that slight glance and you're like, you know what I'm saying? And that's just force of habit. But that goes along with what Fadika was saying when it's like, oh, perfection is this and this or is that and that. You have to realize that one, we are not perfect, we're imperfect. And two, your perfection is what you are. It's not what you're trying to be. It's not what she look across the way, because ain't no telling what she had to do that. You know, what health risk. Everybody has to do what's right for them at the end of the day. And I'm very pro that. But I'm also pro learning to love yourself. Like, we're in this moment. We all have to be able to love ourselves and be around people who are going to love us for being ourselves, you know? Now, back to when we were having our births, what do you guys feel in terms of, like, the medical help that you guys received? Do you feel like they were fully present? Do you wish that, they were a little bit more? Were they what they needed to be?
Are you talking about our support or the doctors?
Doctors, yeah.
Oh, shout out to Miss Duhart. That's my doctor. That's my doctor.
She was my doctor for Malachi and Phoenix.
Yes, she's awesome.
Is she still at OBGYN?
Yep, Greystone OBGYN.
Wow, that's funny.
You have to let her, oh my gosh.
That's my doctor. When I tell you, I love that lady. Like, Greystone is different. So when you first go, you go to multiple doctors, and then whoever is on call that night is who's delivering your baby.
Wow. Okay.
So I didn't meet Duhart, Duhart. I said it right. Duhart. I didn't meet Dr. Duhart until the actual day of my delivery. When I tell you, I was the most comfortable person
her
in there.
Minutes.
It is
we gonna tag you, Dr. Duhart. She probably do remember me because I got a story for that one. But
girl, but like, no, for real. Like, she sat here when I had mine. She played music. We listened to music while she was doing it. The thing that touched me the most is that my grandmother, of course, she passed away about a few years before my son got here. And I really was having a hard time with having not my grandmother being here. So my grandmother's favorite song was Happy. That was her favorite song by Pharrell. When I gave birth to my son at literally 12, I think it was 12:34. So it was 1, 2, 3, 4. She played that. And I gave birth to my son. I felt comfortable. I cried. I thought I was a G. I thought I wasn't gonna cry, but I cried like a baby. Girl. Then they had my son come and they let me hold him, and then she gave me every step of the way of what was gonna happen next. And she checked on me, and then when I came back from my follow-up, she was just like, so where's the girl? I'm like, no. Birth control me. Birth control me. She was like, but when you decide that you want another one, I got you. I said, okay, most definitely. Coming to you. You got to deliver it.
She is a wonderful black woman gynecologist. I met her. So I went to Greystone when it was still Robinson OBGYN or whatever, because it was like in the name of the main guy. And I went there I had a miscarriage. And so I went there for my post-op for my surgery. And during she actually did the surgery. And then during that or whatever, they had found some cancerous tissue. So they were saying that was the reason for my miscarriage. So me and her got to know each other through that, and she was my doctor, and I was so hard-headed about going back for checkups or whatever. So she would call me, and then I would go. And then one day I went for a checkup, and I brought my sister along or whatever. And so we're doing the checkup, and she has the ultrasound on me, and that's how I found out I was pregnant. She was like, because then my sister was like, what is that? And, remember my sister, our relationship is kind of rocky or whatever. So I was like, oh, shoot, is that a baby? And I brought her in here. She gonna tell me.
So,
And so She was like, "You pregnant?" I said, "No, I'm not." And the doctor was like, oh, and I guess she didn't pick up on cues, but then Dr. Duhart was like, "Yeah, it looks like you started something new, Raven." And I was like,
snap.
Damn.
so then, I'll never forget. That's me and my sister also bonded a bit, you know, through that pregnancy too. So I was like, "No, hold on, yeah, you know, whatever."
Right. Let's wait.
Hey, no. She's like, "I ain't gonna do." So then, like during, you know, the appointments or whatever, and she's getting to know me, and then, like I said, with Malachi, it was such a it got to a point. It wasn't even that he was big. I just could not push him. My body was not allowing me to. And right when my body, because I would be pushing, but my body is like not following those directions.
So it's the same thing that she did.
Yeah.
Right.
And where it stopped was right at his neck. So his head was out.
Yeah.
But then stopped. And she was like, "Raven, I was like, I can't." And then when she realized it wasn't me, you know, literally purposely not pushing, she was like, "Okay, I have a suction that I can use, but you have to still be trying to push." And I had gave it my all. She put the suction on him. She's like pulling them out. And I'm like pushing. But I literally was exhausted. And she was like, "Come on, like you got," you know, she was like the best encouragement to have. She was great. So then, you know, we got him out or whatever. And I'll never forget. She's like, "Oh, he's so beautiful." And like all my kids have came out with head full of hair. It's like this much. Like Nico has a whole bunch of hair. Cairo does. Malachi's was amazing. So then she's like, "Oh my gosh, look at his hair, look at him." And so she puts him on me, and you know, he has all that gunk on him. I was like, like before I even realized it, I was like, "Oh no." And she was like, "No, it's okay. Don't say, who got a napkin?" And I'm laying there, you know, whatever. And so I'm wiping myself. She's like, "Wait a minute, I'm gonna clean him up." I said, "Y'all clean him up. He is cute though."
Oh my God.
So then, you know, we go through that or whatever, and then about 3 years later or whatever, this is when Jamil's in the picture, and then I found out that I'm pregnant, and I'm like sorting through it with her. And I'm like, "Girl, I don't what I do." Right. And so I go to Dr. Duhart, and you know, she's like, "We're gonna, you know, get through this together, like whatever decision you make or whatever." So of course I ended up having my baby girl, and so I'll never forget, she was not on call when I was scheduled to have my daughter. But you know what she did?
What?
She said, "I'm going to give you my cell phone number." Because she knew, like, my first one was so traumatic. And then she knew that emotionally through this pregnancy, it was just up and down for me. She's like, "I'll give you my number. And they will also have my number too. You tell them to call me whenever you're about to have the baby." So the whole time I'm in the hospital, and there's nurses and other doctors coming to check on me or whatever. And I remember this really bitter behind heifer. She was a nurse, and so they're like, "Hey, we think that she's about to like start having a baby." So then the doctor that was on call, she's walking in. She's like, "Hey, you ready to push?" And I was like, "Not with you."
Right.
I am not. And so the doctor, one of the nurses, she goes, "This is Dr. Duhart's special patient." And I was like, "And so please go call her."
Right.
I will not. Do you hear me? Because baby. So then they call her, and she come up there. She came up there, and she literally gave birth to my baby. She helped me, and she was like, "You did it." And it was so crazy because then after that, I was working at Smoky Bones, and she would come in there, and I would see her, and she's like, "Hey," and I'm like, "Hey," she's like, "How's the babies? How my babies?" And I'll give her, you know, give her whatever she wanted, whatever, because she was just amazing. It wasn't about the job. And that has a lot to do with it too, because when you have a doctor that you can tell genuinely cares about you. Now, I have a personal preference against male doctors. It's my comfort zone. I refuse to.
I had a male doctor.
Now with Nico, it was a male doctor or whatever, and it was the worst. I had to go to high risk, and they were more, you know, attentive than he was or whatever in terms of my care. In my C-section, I ended up finding out that I had a hernia, an umbilical hernia. And he's like, "Oh, it's fine, no worries," or whatever. That messed up my pregnancy so much with Cairo because he didn't solve it right then and there. And I said, never again. And that's not even, you know, trying to be sexist or whatever, but it's just in terms of that experience with that one particular non-melanated doctor, male doctor. He had so many patients also that he wasn't willing to like have that one-on-one care. You know what I mean? But would you ever now, in terms of home births, would you guys ever, if you had one hypothetically, like do a home birth?
I don't know.
No.
I'm not opposed to it.
Yeah, I'm
not opposed to it. However, I mean, it's the more natural way to do it. But because I know my body and I know how I am, and I know that I'm small, 9 times out of 10, I'm gonna have to keep having C-sections because my pelvic bone is super small.
Well, that's what they tell you anyway.
So
yeah,
I mean,
I think Ashley might have went back to having kids vaginally.
Yeah, they call it a VBAC. Yeah, but most doctors won't allow.
They don't want to.
Yeah, they prefer. And I had this one.
I'm gonna tell you why. Because they get paid more money
with the C-section. Yeah.
Every time, because it's a surgery.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you just popping a baby out, that's not a surgery.
Yeah. Right.
So because there is a surgery involved, then they do get paid more money.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is controversy within OBGYN.
I mean, I would definitely try a natural birth because I like water.
Yeah, I'm hollering.
I know I'm weird. I like water, and plus on top of that, it's like I know a couple of people that are doulas.
Yeah,
and like I have 2 friends that are right now trying to be a doula. And I mean, with that being said, if I feel comfortable with them, of course I would have them there to help me deliver my baby with the midwife. I wouldn't have an issue with that.
We gotta get some doulas on. If you a doula, comment.
And their mothers too. Both of the doulas, they work with me. They're both Black women, strong Black women, and Tiffany, I'm gonna tell you, and Chartrice. So they also like, they're hardworking. Yeah. And because they're hardworking, they want to do this because they like helping and delivering babies.
Oh, so with that being said, you ladies want more kids?
I want one more.
Oh, here we go.
We want another kid, Raven?
We were talking about this. I don't know.
No, you brought this up.
You definitely did.
I definitely want y'all to talk about this, but you talk about this.
So honestly, no and yes. So let me break it down. Let me break it down because 4 is a lot. I went from 2 to 4 real quick, and that was fine because me and my partner at the time, whatever, that's what we chose or whatever. But 5 is a lot, and
a lot.
Right.
But I do want another girl. And my daughter, I promise you, she said I failed her with this last one because she wanted a girl so bad. Right. She was fine with Nico being a boy that was cute or whatever. But she said my job with number 4 was to produce a girl. Yep. And let me tell you something. At that gender reveal, when she didn't see pink, and she realized that let me tell y'all the story on that one. So we had the balloon ready. Me and my friends were about to go outside, and we're about to pop it. But me, I'm always joking around. So we sitting there laughing or whatever. She's like, let's go. I'm trying to, find out what this is. So I'm like, 1 minute. And I keep saying it. Let me tell y'all how we didn't even know this. She goes into the kitchen. She gets a toothpick. Okay. We standing there talking. She's like, mommy, and I'm like, 1 second. We all like, all we hear is boom, pop. So we're like, what is that? And then we look down and we're like, the balloon popped. And we look at her and she's like,
I tried to tell you.
Right.
Listen, so then we were laughing at that so busy that no one really noticed the color. So then finally, a friend of mine was like, wait, it's blue. And we're like, oh my gosh. And so she said, does blue mean girl? No lie. I will call D right now. And we're like, no, it's a boy. When I tell you, she stumped out that room. She had an attitude. She went and got her some cake. She go and eat it. And we all still laughing about what she just did or whatever. And one of my friends was like, you mad? I said, no. I was like, this is a funny bit or whatever. She got tired of waiting.
Right.
So she come back and she said, just so everyone knows, I'm very upset right now.
You didn't understand the assignment.
Listen, she comes to me. She said, you had one thing to do.
Oh, my goodness.
She said, you had one thing. I said, it doesn't work like that. And so she was like, so you can't make it a girl. And I was like, it doesn't work like that. And so in her mind, she's like, it's in your body, so I'm not understanding why you can't give me a sister.
Wow.
So, and she loves her brother. Like, she's second mommy or whatever. But to this day, she like, so about that sister. Right. About that sister.
I'm just making an appearance.
She'll do the math and she's like, it's 2 of us, 3 of them. that doesn't equal. And I'm like, well, it's fine because we'll still be able to do our like mommy, like daughter nail dates or whatever because we used to do that all the time. And she goes, but we ain't done that in a long time. So she was basically like, that's not a good enough excuse because you ain't took me in a minute. Okay. But I don't know, like probably not right now. If I got married and my partner wanted like a biological child of his own, then we can revisit that conversation. But if he good with the set, with the musketeers already got, then we're A-okay. Do you?
She don't know. Last week she wanted another kid.
I mean, maybe if I get married.
Yeah.
Then
he
want a child.
say if he want a kid.
Then I'll do it. But other than that.
And you just said you having puppies.
And a monkey.
And a monkey.
I'm good with a monkey. I don't think I can have any more kids, y'all.
You think
it's gonna be a surprise.
Surprise! Oh my goodness. Well, guys, this is the end of this episode. Please like, comment, and subscribe at the bottom. Tell us what your maybe blessed insecurities are. Always remember that the body you have is perfect for you. Never compare them to your neighbor. And we will see you on the next episode of Melanated Mommies. We're out.
Bye.